All right, we got a little bit different video today on the farm. Suspicious looking truck driving slow. Sorry. Let's see. Well, it looks like spring sprung overnight, basically. Everything has basically turned green in the last 24 hours. Pollen is everywhere and killing me. And it is time to get a handle on the jungle around my house, around the farm, and everywhere else. My grandmother, in her infinite wisdom, brought wisteria onto the property when I was about 10 years old. If you're not familiar with wisteria, perhaps you're familiar with kudzu. It's basically the same stuff, except it puts out pretty little flowers. So Grandma brought this stuff in, and it has basically gone unchecked for the last, I don't know, 10 years since she passed away, 11 years now. No. She passed away in 2007, so I don't know, 13, 14 years probably since before, a couple years before her death. She wasn't getting out going to the gardening and such, but yeah, so the wisteria got all over the backside of the house, basically took over the backyard. This stuff is crazy. This is some of the older vines, as you see here, twisted up. Some of that stuff gets big around as a tree stump, but what it does is it climbs up on anything it can climb up on. Trees, the house, anything else, it doesn't matter. It's got to get up high. It's actually started pulling the soffit and fascia off the corners of the house where it had grown up on the house the last couple years. But whole purpose of this rambling is my outside light. I've got several of them on the farm, but I've got one right here. It's right to the left of the house, and I like it just for the security purpose of lighting up the front of the house at night, and this corner over here. And it has been out for, I don't know, about 7-8 months now. I had Duke Energy come out and they replaced the light head. It was an old mercury vapor, or whatever the heck those old incandescent, or I don't even know if they're classified as incandescent, whatever the old style fixtures was. They put an LED head in it, and after they replaced it, it didn't work. So called them and they come out in the next month, and I can't remember if they replaced it again or what they did, but long story short, it took 4 months before the technician that they sent out finally came back here to the backyard and discovered that the power line that runs from that pole that splits off of the service coming in from the highway and goes to the house and then goes to that light was severed. The wisteria had grown up the tree, wrapped itself around the power line, and then pulled it down, snapped it in half. So I had no power to the light, so of course it wasn't going to work. So during the winter, when we had rain every single day and all of this was a soupy, marshy bog, the guy came out in his service truck, which I believe was like a F4 or 550 with a bucket on it, and it was a two-wheel drive truck because for whatever reason they don't have them four-wheel drive trucks anymore. And he got to right about that pole when he had to get all the way back here to this pole and sunk the truck down to the bumper. I had to take the 766 and pull him out with the tractor. But yeah, here's some more wisteria in the backyard. As you can see, it is folding these trees over. That's what it does. It climbs up on trees and chokes them out and kills them, competes for sunlight, competes for water and minerals in the soil. And this stuff grows, like I said, like kudzu. It's like wildfire. I don't know what the actual growth rate is, but 1/4 inch a day wouldn't surprise me. But I'm getting tangled up in this mess. It's impossible to walk anywhere in the backyard just about with this stuff. It's probably killed this apple tree, plum tree, all these fruit trees. There used to be several peach trees back here at grandmother's. Had my own private little orchard. There's a muscadine vine back on the back side here. If you don't know what muscadines are, they're like big grapes. But as you see, here's some of the wisteria. See, it like tents up, and it's like support cables for the trees, except in a bad way. Because you can see this tree, look how it's just bowed it over to the ground, or this one, how it's bowed up here. And you see on this old oak how it's pulling that side. It'll start twisting the limbs and everything else. It's actually pulled this tree all the way to the ground. This wasn't from any kind of storm or high winds or anything. It was these daggum wisteria vines growing up on the tree and just pulled it straight onto the ground, uprooted it. It's insane how strong these vines are. You can see right here at this tree, look at the bow it's getting in the trunk from the vines wrapping around and pulling down on it. It's freaking insane what that stuff will do. And it's all over every tree in the backyard. Well, for them to come fix my light, one, it had to dry up. It's finally dried up. The soil's firm enough where I think they can get that F550 back here. Two, he wanted this tree cut because it was a limb that was kind of in the way, but not really. The main thing was all the wisteria on it was going to get on the line again. And then my fig tree back there, I need to prune out the top of it because some of it is getting close to the power line. So just got off the phone with Duke. They've scheduled to come out, so we got to chop this tree up and haul it out of here. We got to get this wisteria chopped up. I need to bring the bush hog in here and eradicate this stuff before it starts growing. We need to prune the fig tree. We need to get this wisteria off the back of the garage and going up of the roof there and on the garage here. Honestly, we need to cut 1, 2, 3, the 4 trees right here in the middle. We do have a power line here, and we do have the garage here, and we do have a power line here. So I'm about to get Duke to come out here and drop this power line so I can lay these trees down this way and haul them off. You can see the wisteria getting up in that cedar there, the little flowery and drapey, dangly little flower pods. It is seriously killing this oak back here. I really need to come back here and cut this stuff off of it again. Every time I cut it off, it grows right back. It's like impossible to get rid of. And if I remember right, she just brought one sprig of it in, and it is just gone everywhere. It's almost out to my mother's trailer. I mean, it's just gone everywhere. And the only way I see to kill it at this point is to basically level, clear cut every single square foot of ground that it's on, where I can go back with the bush hog and just keep eradicating it with the bush hog. Cut everything that it grows on, give it no room to grow up. It has to sprawl out along the ground, and then you can just whack it with the bush hog until it finally stops coming back. I don't know. It's like aliens. It's like a mother vine somewhere, and all these sprouts come off. Like they're under the house too, like in the crawl space. Those vines, a lot of that's the wisteria. Here's another project I was doing this morning I did not record. This is an old pole barn. Dad used to dirt track race back in the 60s when he was in high school, and he built this building to house his dirt track cars, and then later used it on the farm. But in 1989, when Hurricane Hugo came through, had a bunch of trees down. We had a lot of bad stuff go down with Hugo. Well, this power pole got knocked out during Hugo, and when Duke Energy came then, or Duke Power at the time, they had to cut a tree right here. It was a big pine tree. It was half broken off, and it was in the way of running the power. Well, whoever was doing the tree work wasn't very good. He cut the top of the tree out. It fell right here in the middle of this building, broke this support, broke this. Went round and round with them, and my dad could not get Duke to pay for the damages they caused. So over the years, it's just rotted and decayed more. This pole here was in this corner. There was a piece across here that held that. There were 2 doors here like this. So it seems to be pretty sturdy still in this main section. This back section, just within the last few weeks, the roof collapsed. But I don't know, it might be worth trying to save. I've been wanting to build a garage or a shop on the farm, but this one is basically already freestanding in here. All I need to do, honestly, is go cut a couple cedar trees in the pasture, which I have an overabundance of large cedars at the moment. Dig out, put a new cedar post here, replace the 2 posts back there that are rotted, reframe the 2x6s back there, put some more sheet metal up, build another door here, and it'd pretty much be ready to go. Come in and pour some concrete because it is a dirt floor. But yeah, that's I'm sure going to be far cheaper than having a new pole barn built. I priced one out with Morton Buildings. It was 120 grand, but it was also 50 by 100. It was kind of my dream shop build. Ain't gonna happen anytime soon. But yeah, I've had the 574 out here with the bucket, knocking this junk down. This whole thing was covered in wisteria. Like I said, I'll have a little slideshow of the pictures before and to this point. Because I didn't video any of that. But like I said, the main thing we're gonna do right now is go to the backyard, get the chainsaw out, cut up that big tree we just fell, and drag it off with the 766 and take the 574 and deal with the limbs and get all that cleared out and ready for Duke to come in and reattach the service to my outdoor light. So let's get to it. Well, I'm not trying to stand around chopping wood all day, so we got it cut up in 4 or 5 big sections. So time to go get the 766, hook the chain, and start dragging this junk out of here. Okay, battery, don't be dead. And break time for a breakdown. Not technically, but notice the tractor was wanting to pull to the left, and as you can see, we got a front end alignment issue. So problem is this spindle has gotten tweaked back off of this I guess it's a pitman arm, idle arm, not exactly sure what International calls it. So taking this pinch bolt loose, gonna try to get it lined back up, eyeball it, tighten it back down, and hopefully that fixes that. Also noticed that the front tire was slack on this side, so I'm gonna air those up before we start dragging trees. So yeah, looks close enough to me. Alright, so we got most of that tree cleared out of here, just some light limb work and some brush from that pine I fell back about a month and a half ago. So that'll be some light work for the 574. Just coming here with the bucket and pile it all up. There's a brush pile there. I put that brush pile there about 7-8 years ago. I need to cut that pine, and there's a couple other little trees that have come up in there. Pile it up there, have a big fire, burn all this mess up, and went ahead and parked the 766 here right beside this fig tree, so I can just stand on the fender here and prune the top out of it, and we can fish that power line out of there. So this project's about done. Probably run the 574 between the house and the garage and the well pump house there. Try to knock most of that brush down. There's 2 or 3 little small trees I cut in there about a month ago, so get those out of the way, get everything piled up over here. Then I will probably go hook the bush hog up to the 766, probably bush hog the pasture in front of Mother's house, and probably bush hog back here behind as best as I can, and go from there. All right, stick a fork in me. I'm done. I am sore and tired and ready to go home. Ended up cutting a lot out of the fig tree. That wisteria was everywhere. Went up in the backyard and cut all the wisteria off of the larger trees. What else? Found some weird something. I don't know what to describe. I found looked like a film reel sticking out from a pile of leaves behind a tree, and went to investigate, and it was like 4 giant film reels, and then a bunch of DVD boxes. Some had DVD, some didn't. There was one child, toddler, baby size Nike shoe, 3 giant clothespins, some children's toys. I'm gonna leave a couple pictures I took with my cell phone. I don't know where the heck this came from or what the deal is, but it's just randomly in the backyard behind a couple trees near one of my other Subarus, and I've got no clue where it came from or what the deal is with it, so I'm kind of stumped. So that's as much progress as I got on clearing out the pole barn. That's all I'm doing today, so it is what it is. And I'll walk around real quick to the backyard and give you a shot of it before we close this out. Just got done scraping the driveway, tore it up quite a bit, dragging those trees out and going across the corner here. Tore the yard up too, but I don't care. It's grass, it'll grow back. It's left for me to cut in that little strip there. So well, here's the progress I made on all that wisteria and the fig tree. I think I'm gonna end up having to cut the top out of it still. It's still wrapped up in that power wire. Ended up cutting this fig tree. It was about dead from the wisteria on it. Most of it was dead and brittle and broke off. Got a lot cleared out around the HVAC unit. Probably end up gonna sell that, because like I said, I'm gonna take it out, do it with the central heating and air, and do a mini split system in this house. I was ready to get in the truck and leave. Forgot my chainsaw and everything else is in the backyard back here. That would have been good. All this is now nice and opened up. Like I said, I went and trimmed the wisteria off of all those trees where it was growing up. Got the majority of this stuff up. I'll have to come in tomorrow with the 574 in the bucket, like I said, and scrape this stuff and just run out of time and energy for the day. I'll pack up the saw, pack up all this mess, lock up the shop, lock up my toolbox, lock up the house, and head out of here. Thank you so much for watching. Hope you enjoyed the video. I will see you in the next one.